Hey everybody, this is gonna be kind of a video diary of shows and games that are in my backlog of things I want to watch and play. And this is kind of a way I can keep track of them and also get my thoughts out on there instead of making long form videos that I just don't have the bandwidth to do in my current day-to-day. I'm gonna start with what I watched and played in August and September. And first in August, I watched Little Witch Academia, and I really enjoyed this show. The visuals are really vibrant and kind of in that Studio Trigger style that I really enjoy. All the characters are pretty lovable in their own ways. They all have clear motivations as to what they are as characters that's communicated pretty well. The character designs are simple, but they still work really well. Overall, Little Witch Academia has a really sweet message and theme of pursuing your dreams, and that was something I really needed at the time. I wasn't in the best place mentally, and it really reminded me just how exciting things can be and how chasing your dreams is something you shouldn't give up on. I also watched Gurren Lagann, and wow. I've always heard Gurren Lagann is really good, and while watching it, I was still blown away by how good it is. Like, I know it's very well liked and well known, and I feel like I can't say anything that hasn't already been said. Almost every episode delivers on the overall message of the show, which is communicated near the end. And going back and revisiting the episodes after knowing the end and climactic message of the show is really good. It makes the previous episodes even better, in my opinion. There are 26 episodes, and I'm pretty sure I welled up with happy tears in at least 20 of them. And I can now join the team of recommending Gurren Lagann to everyone. I also watched Great Pretender on Netflix. It was entertaining to watch, but it starts out kind of weird. It starts by introducing the main character as being Japan's top swindler, and he runs into this other guy named Laurent, who is also a great swindler, but it's not really a show about Edamura being a good swindler. Like, it is, but it doesn't focus on that. Like, it doesn't lean into that initial pitch of Edamura claiming he's Japan's top swindler. There are beats and moments where he has to be a great swindler in order to carry plans across the finish line, but from the top down, it's not really a story about Edamura, it's about everyone else, which I actually really enjoy. Like, it's more of an exploration of the characters in the team that he's working on, and I really enjoy character growth and exploration, so I still enjoyed watching things. It builds to a crazy climax, but at a certain point, as things happen, I just felt bad for Edamura. Without spoiling anything, he kind of grapples with being a con man or swindler for his own personal reasons, but there are so many times where he's like, all right, I'm gonna wash my hands of this, and then it ends up being a plan to get him in on another plan in the future. As the show continued, it kind of became hard to suspend disbelief as Laurent kind of seems to have infinite resources and connections to set up these elaborate plans, but maybe I'm just thinking too logically about it. I mean, it is a show after all. But going back through the plots and beats of the show, there's a lot of similar twists and reveals that happen that make the show kind of predictable near the end. But at the end of the day, it's more of an exploration of the other characters he's meeting and why they're doing what they're doing. And overall, it's a very fun and entertaining show, and I really enjoy the exploration of the other characters. I also attempted to finish Joshiraku finally, and I just couldn't do it. I'm a fan of slice of life anime, but this show has like no narrative through point, and because it doesn't have a narrative through point, I never felt compelled to keep watching the shows. Like, it's a comedy show, I think. I know the main characters are Rakuten performers, which is a form of comedy, but in the first episode of the show, and the second, I believe, the show flat out tells you, like, this is not a show to watch for narrative. Like, it's entirely based around the show is entirely focused on the girls living their lives and focusing on how cute the girls are. Like, the show says that, so maybe I'm the asshole. I did enjoy seeing the different outfits the characters wear, which goes back to that, oh, it's focusing on how cute the girls are. But yeah, I think I'm on episode 10, and I can't find a reason to go back and watch them, but the ending slaps. And then, not anime, but I watched Over the Garden Wall with my girlfriend, and it's really good. It dances the line between cute and unsettling very well, so it's kind of spooky without being too spooky, and it's also cute without being too cute. There's a good pace. I think each episode is like 10 minutes long. There's great songs, there's good writing in each of the episodes, and it's, in my opinion, a great example of what you can achieve with well-crafted animation and a well-defined vision. I also watched Violet Evergarden, and man, this is also really good. The first episode draws you in really well. It says a lot, and it also creates a lot of questions that I, as the viewer, wanted answered. The visuals are incredible. Great Pretender had great visuals, and I felt that Violet Evergarden had better visuals. And while I don't feel qualified enough to use the word cinematography, I could identify deliberate framing of shots that emphasize the tone of scenes very well. This show is both beautiful and tragic. Without spoiling too much, it's about Violet growing as a person and also how she touches the lives of the people that she learns her life lessons from. But if you're a crier like me, have tissues ready. I'm pretty sure I cried every single episode. I was exhausted. And then I also watched Golden Boy. I kind of knew what to expect going into the show, but I was still surprised. Kintaro is really a pervert, and there's really no moving past it. It's pretty much what's used to fill and drive the plot of episodes. There are some nice messages mixed into the episodes and overall narrative of the show, but it's easy to miss it with the blatant perversion. It's hard to have an opinion of this show, honestly. It's animated really well, but it definitely feels like a relic from 30 years ago. But it's good, I guess. And with that, I'm gonna get into the games that I played in August and September. So one of the first games I played in August when I decided to start doing this was Jupiter Hell. So Jupiter Hell is a roguelike, Doom-style, turn-based game, which sounds like a lot, but it plays kind of like XCOM, but also not as rigid in the turns. Every action you take is a turn while moving on a grid, and there's a nice, cheesy 90s action movie aesthetic that the game really leans into. I had a great time playing with it. Runs are fast, and it's difficult without being too difficult. The game on normal never feels too hard or like I had no control over what happened when I died. It's very easy to pick up and play and sink several hours into. There are different classes to mix up each playthrough, each with their own resource, method of recharging that resource, and skills and different perks as you level up that kind of change how you can play through the game. And it's voiced by Mark Meer, Commander Shepard, swearing and saying things like this.
I call shotgun. Blood for the blood god.
Yeah, overall, it's a fun game. I definitely recommend picking it up. I also played a lot of Guilty Gear Strive. I've actually been playing Guilty Gear Strive since it came out, and I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. The soundtrack is fantastic. The visuals are great. I made it into Celestial in August, but now I'm only playing as higher skilled players, and it seems like I can't be unrecommended the 10th floor of the ranked tower, which is kind of annoying because I can't dedicate time to properly learn matchups. I kind of developed a tendon issue from having bad posture like the first week of playing the game with my fight stick. So because I don't really have the time and I don't want to make the injury worse, I'm kind of gridlocked on the rank tower. But it's still fun. It still looks great. I still would recommend this to a lot of people. Also in September, I finally played Hades, and man, is this game good. Kind of similar to Gurren Lagann, plenty has been said about Hades already, and after playing it myself, I can confirm all of the criticisms are valid. Like, this game is fantastic. There's tight gameplay, there's good variety to the gameplay, there's great voice acting, a ton of voiced dialogue, and a great art style that's also really impressive. It also, unlike most roguelikes, manages to have a narrative that is fully aware of what you're doing, and the fact that you're doing the same thing over and over, which I think the game being based on Greek mythology actually helps make that narrative through point. For those that don't know, you're playing as Zagreus, the son of Hades, and you've decided you want to escape the underworld. So when you die, you get sent back to the beginning, basically. You get sent down the river Styx and wake back and come back to the beginning, and all of the characters are aware that you're trying to escape, and they have quips and talk to you about why you're trying to escape and etc. It's really good. It's also very impressive that Hades has so many mechanics from other types of games that I really enjoy. It's got the great combat, different weapon diversity. It's got great character development as well as you continue playing the game. There's also a mechanic of building friendships to unlock other things in the game. It's really impressive how Hades seems to have taken things that I really enjoy from other genres of game and execute them well within one game. I would say if you haven't played Hades yet, make sure you do. It's quite a special game. I also finally played Doom Eternal. This is a good sequel to the 2016 Doom, but I kind of lost some of the narrative details that didn't seem to be clarified at any point. For example, I don't remember how we got to the Fortress of Doom, if that was even explained at the end of the first game, but not having those narrative details didn't really take away from the experience of the game, in my opinion. In the later levels, there were times I felt like I was suddenly surrounded by enemies and could do nothing to stop myself from dying or suddenly losing 95% of my life and not having any information about why or what just happened. But overall, it was very fun to play, and I do recommend it for FPS fans or just fans of the Doom franchise. It's a very good modern Doom game, just like Doom 2016 was. I also played No More Heroes on the Switch. So at the end of August, or near the end of August, No More Heroes 3 came out, and I know I never played the second one, despite having it on my shelf, but I did play the first one, and they did release Switch ports of the first and second No More Heroes games, so I decided to play through them before playing No More Heroes 3, and I've got to say, it still holds up. I was worried I wouldn't enjoy it as much as I did when I played it on the Wii, now that I'm not a teenage boy, but I still enjoyed it. It's campy, it's fun, it's got that 90s B-movie kind of feel to it as well. Something while playing it that I thought was really interesting is that this game originally came out on the Wii, and in my opinion, it strikes a good balance of utilizing motion controls without being overly dependent on it in, like other games that people say are good and bad, because at the end of the day, motion controls, they're rarely perfect, but No More Heroes is structured and designed in a way that that's okay. There were some times where I would move the Joy-Cons for wrestling moves and it just wouldn't happen, but it didn't happen so much that it was annoying. It's still funny, it still made me laugh. I'm not sure if things were tweaked to make it easier to progress. I finished the game in just over 10 hours, and while the game isn't terribly complex, you're kind of just doing mini games to get money to do the main story missions, but I definitely felt like I spent a lot more time grinding in the original Wii version. But that's all I played and watched in August and September. If you have any recommendations of games I should check out or shows I should watch, please let me know in the comments, and I will talk to you next month.